How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.
this the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? Oh, I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final scene of sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be out you.
Won't anybody help us? What are we running for? When there's nowhere we can run to anymore. We can't afford to be innocent. Stand up and face the enemy. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible. And with the power of conviction, there is no sacrifice. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible.
Who the fuck is Karlyn? She's just some sweet lady. She's like in a knitting. She does like a knitting stream. She's like a knitting YouTuber. She does knitting.
Can we grow up a little bit and
Alt
not
Girl
be
sent $200.
retarded?
Have you
Please.
seen the work of Karlyn Borysenko? Anti-commie cult leader and is obsessed with looking at what actual far-left communists are talking about and organizing today, infiltrating them. They infiltrated the universities, schools, media. She has the receipts to back it up. Primary source evidence. Infestation is dire and she calls Republicans idiots eating slop. Agree.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, oh, I know Karlyn B. She's solid. She's funny. I
The
like
great
her.
noticer sent 200.
Literally.
So
not
it's,
Ian.
it's not because I haven't dangled my junk into the combat zone on purpose to get some camera footage, but that's the big part of what's the
Is
problem.
that what you call reporting?
Go
and live
under, if
streaming?
you're going to do it,
Yeah,
go
seriously.
undercover. Otherwise you're wearing a hunk of meat in a lion's den. Nick Shirley, I love you. Take care of yourself, man. Karlyn Borysenko went undercover. Do stuff like that. Like if you want to expose this thing, don't pariah,
But
please.
Ian, here's and I agree with you to an extent.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? Happy Tuesday. Hey, how are you guys on YouTube anyway? Rumble, I'm going to do it for you too. Don't worry, Rumble. I'm going to give you these too. How are you liking the new emojis that I put for YouTube channel members? Rumble, I swear I'm going to do this for you too. I just didn't get a chance to do it today. I barely got done the YouTube stuff before I had to start the stream. So Rumble, I promise I'm not ignoring you guys. I will try to figure out how to get you guys special emojis too, even though I have no idea how to do that. You want to know why? Because Rumble has no documentation about how to do stuff for channel members. They just don't. Rumble hates channel members. Rumble. For my Rumble members, I would like to be able to do all the things with you that I can do on YouTube. I want to be able to post for you guys. I want to be able to do private streams that you guys are invited to. I want to be able to do emojis and all that stuff. The problem is, Rumble, the platform sucks. And that's not the Rumble users' fault. That is Rumble's fault, because Rumble continues to waste money on ridiculous and stupid content creators who have nothing new and original to say, just to get people on their platform. And all that money that they've wasted on getting these con artist content creators on their platform, they could have put into developing the platform. Rumble could be much, like significantly better than it is. Did you guys remember when Rumble kept bragging about all the hundreds of millions of dollars that they got invested into it? Where is the platform development? It's not as though they don't have the money. They do have the money. Rumble just makes really shitty decisions about where to spend their money. And so, sorry, Rumble, the platform sucks. The platform sucks. There is no documentation. I can't do anything for members. I can't get any answers out of it. There's no one to talk to help me. It's like it is the most absurd. Like, you can listen, Rumble. I can forgive this stuff when you are a brand new platform, but Rumble has now been around for a long ass fucking time. They have hundreds of millions of dollars, allegedly. They waste all that money on content creators that are just botting their streams to make it seem like they have viewers they don't have. I mean, can we all be honest? I make significantly more in super chats than the quartering does. Like, not, and it's not even a minor difference. With maybe I get maybe like 500 live viewers per stream. I make significantly more in super chats than the quartering does. And yet Rumble spent all this money on the quartering's bullshit content. And we know, based on his lack of chat on Rumble and his lack of engagement in his videos, the quartering is botting all his fucking views on Rumble with Rumble's money. So maybe, Rumble, instead of wasting your money, you could put it into developing the platform. I'm not even asking for a Rumble partnership. I don't quite frankly care about any of that. I have more than enough financial support independent of any fucking platform. I'm not looking for any sort of partnership or anything. All I want to do, Rumble, is be able to provide content to the members of my Rumble channel. That's like all I want to be able to do. I want to be able to provide special content to them that is exclusive for members, and I can't do that. You want to know why? Because Rumble won't develop their fucking platform. They have there's nothing. There's nothing. It is the most confusing fucking platform. I like to think I'm a relatively smart person, but I can't even. I fucking can't even anymore with Rumble. Do you know how much fucking time I have wasted trying to figure this out? Time that I could have been doing stuff that was actual like work to research and expose the left. Do you know how like I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about how much Rumble sucks. All I want to do is be able to serve the members that I have over there, because there have been so many very generous people on Rumble that have been gifting memberships out to the channel, because that's something we do here. We gift memberships out to the channel so people can access premium content. Sadly, Rumble doesn't allow me to do any of the things that YouTube allows me to do. So Rumble sucks, and until they improve, I'm not going to shut up about how much they suck. And I hate them. But I don't hate my Rumble watchers. I love the people watching me on Rumble. And by the way, I totally understand why people don't want to use YouTube. I 100% get it. I would love it if my Rumble chat was far more active than it was. But you know what, Rumble? If you're not going to provide me with a way to interact with people paying me money, then it's going to be more, like people on YouTube are going to get more. And that's just the way it goes, man. That's just the way it goes. And no, I am not using the Rumble Studio to stream. What Rumble needs to be doing is integrating with other platforms like StreamYard. I don't want to use the Rumble Studio to stream. I can't even fucking figure out the Rumble Studio. Do you want to know why? There's no fucking documentation because Rumble apparently, with all those many millions of dollars, haven't hired a technical fucking support team to write their goddamn documentation. So no, I'm not going to use the Rumble because Rumble's say, why don't you just use our studio product to stream all your streams? No, I don't want to. You want to know why? Because if the studio product sucks as much as the rest of the platform, it's a fucking waste of money. StreamYard is a tried and true product. It glitches sometimes, fine. But what Rumble should be doing is figuring out how to integrate with fucking StreamYard and other common platforms in order to make it better for the people streaming and also make it better to the audience. I don't think I'm asking for the sun, the moon, and the stars, Rumble. I really don't. All I want is basic documentation, a way to communicate with the members of my channel, a way to give additional content to people who are paying me money as a thank you for them supporting my work. I am not asking too much for there to be a usable platform with technical documentation that I can use, and for you guys to spend more money developing your platform and getting ways to integrate with other common tools like StreamYard than you spend on bullshit content creators who are botting their streams anyway, like the fucking quartering. I'm not asking for the sun, the moon, and the stars here. I'm really just not. Just be an effective fucking platform. Jeez. Anyway, sorry, I had to get that off my chest because I wasted so much time trying to figure Rumble out today. Let's get to some super chats and stuff. Let's surprise Dr. K and pony up tuition. Yeah, we're doing a class today, guys. Today is class day. Everyone pony up tuition. We're not just sitting around watching protest coverage, although we do love to do that. Everyone pony up your tuition. We're doing a class today. $5, $10. You guys keep me in business. I would really appreciate it. We've got a couple new members. Welcome, Brebens, to the cult, bro. Welcome to the cult. We're glad that you're here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you, W's for Loki, gifting a channel membership over on YouTube. We got Superfly. Welcome to the cult, Superfly. Your life is over. You're never leaving. We'll change the way you see the world. Appreciate you being here. We also got Loki becoming a new member. Thanks so much for the ongoing support, Loki. I really appreciate it. And Everett. Everett in with the big W's. Massive W's to Everett. 20 gifted channel memberships. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. We've got some new member emojis over on YouTube. We've got some new little signifiers next to the screen names. So we are getting a little bit of a refresh and an update with the YouTube channel membership. And I wish I could do the same thing for Rumble, but since Rumble sucks and provides no fucking documentation, it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. I'm doing the best I can over here. Cheekbot, thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate that. We got Donnie Gurla with the 20 tuition fee for today. Thanks, Donnie. I really appreciate it. You rock. And guys, the channel memberships especially are going to come in handy today because thanks, Siri, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. We're doing a spy stream tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have a spy stream scheduled around 7:30 p.m. tonight. W's in the chat for OC with the 5 gifted channel memberships. Thanks so much, bro. If you just got gifted a YouTube channel membership from one of the very generous people that is sprinkling those out around the YouTubes, you will be able to join us for Spy Stream tonight. Spy Stream is when we go inside a live leftist training and we watch it live. We are like a fly on the wall. Thank you, Dan, for being a member of the channel for 3 months. That's awesome, bro. I really appreciate it. When we do, we got Cynthia. Cynthia's got it. Cynthia is like, I will not be forgotten. W's in the chat for Cynthia. We can never forget you, Cynthia. We always know that you're there. Thank you so much for the channel membership. We appreciate it. Guys, if you've just been gifted it, we got Sinbad in with the gifted channel memberships. W's in the chat for Sinbad. Love it, love it, love it. You brought your pencil, Grim? Awesome, awesome. I hope you got a cool notebook. Did you guys know you can get notebooks in my merch store? True story. You can. Cover charge. Thank you, Juan, for the cover charge. Really appreciate it, bro. You guys know that I'm usually much happier on my classes if you guys pay me money up front. You guys know that's the truth. Like, you guys want me in a good mood when I'm doing this. Thank you, Sid, for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Dan, gifting a channel membership. W's in the chat for Dan. Awesome, bro. We got Matt in with the 5 gifted channel memberships. Look at all these awesome new channel memberships that are being gifted out. W's in the chat for Matt. Thanks, guys. And to Cynthia. Cynthia's got to come back and do it again. W's in the chat for Cynthia, our queen, our goddess, always giving so much more to the channel and the community than she asked for in return. We appreciate you, Cynthia. All right. If anyone else wants to give stuff, you're more than welcome to. But let me explain to you guys, for new people, what we are doing in about 2 hours from now. In 2 hours, we are going inside a live leftist training. This is going to be a supporter exclusive spy stream. Most of our spy streams are supporter exclusive. I occasionally do make them public. Thank you, OC, for that cover charge. I really appreciate it. But this one is going to be a supporter exclusive. Loki ponying up his tuition. I really appreciate it, bro. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. We are watching Real Live Socialists tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We were watching them organize their anti-ICE plans. I know we're doing a lot of anti-ICE content lately, but that is quite frankly what the left is talking about. And that, quite frankly, is the thing that's going to cause the downfall of society. So we do have to pay attention to it. Tonight's spy stream is going to start around 7:30, 7:45-ish. Going to go for a couple hours. And you get access to spy stream if you are a member of my Substack, which is Karlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. You can be a member of my locals. You can be a member of my Patreon. You can be a subscriber on Twitter or X. You can also be a YouTube channel member. Rumble, I'm gonna hook you guys up as well. Don't worry about it over there. I got a plan for you guys that will be made clear to you a little bit later. But if you guys just got gifted one of those YouTube channel memberships, let me show you explicitly where you find the access to the spy stream. You go here, which is my main channel homepage. You click on the post tab, and you won't see it on this screen because I'm not a member on my own YouTube channel on this account. But if you are a member on the YouTube channel, you will see the access to spy stream in the post tabs. It is not a member stream. It's an unlisted stream because I have to invite people from other platforms as well. Tom, thanks for the Rumble rant. Contact Rick Rack. I don't know who fucking Rick Rack is. He's a developer on Rumble, very active with users. I mean, maybe I will. Hopefully he responds to the thing I posted on Twitter. But like, if Rick Rack hasn't developed technical documentation yet, I don't really know how much good Rick Rack is going to do for me. But I do appreciate the Rumble rant, and I will think about that if I have the time to continue to deal with this problem. Thank you, Dorfus. Dues found a far left YouTube podcast. Sent you some details through Decode the Left. Yeah, I saw you found the Warzone distro. I saw that. Probably nothing new to you. No, we do know about the Warzone distro. The Warzone distro is a pretty large distributor of far left zines. So you found a good one. You're researching the right places if you ended up on the Warzone distro, because that is one we definitely keep an eye on. Welcome, not Bob Travis, to the cult. We really appreciate you being here. Yeah, we know Warzone. We are deeply familiar. Guys, I also want to let you know that just in case you guys aren't subscribed yet. Where my screen just went off. No, it's back. Never mind. I couldn't see it. My screen went black. That sometimes happens on my computer when I hit the cord. Okay, we're good. We're back. Jenny, thank you for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Guys, do you know there's a Decode the Left YouTube channel? There is. This is a place for clips and stuff. Yo, seriously? Birdman Racing in with the purse fund. I love it. I don't have any new purses to show you today. I wish that I did. I do not have any new purses to show you today. I can show you guys. Did I show you guys my vintage Gucci watch? I have a vintage Gucci watch. It has a B on it. That's pretty rad. It's not a purse, but it's a vintage Gucci watch, and it's awesome. Thanks so much for the $50, bro. Really do appreciate it. Super, super generous. Like the new badges. Took my Borysenko ready to go. Oh, you took your Borysenko, your inoculation pill? Really do appreciate it, NFL. Thanks so much. Oh, we got another one? Oh my God, you guys are super generous today. Intro vid takeaway: anti-white equals anti-capitalist, anti-private property for wealth building. Left aims to end it, including nuclear family, viewing kids as parental property. Yes, Core, you watched the re-education video and you learned from it. Everyone, W's in the chat for Core. W's for getting exactly from that video the things I wanted you to get from that video. Well done, bro. You now understand more about the left than basically everyone in conservative media. I really do appreciate the super chat. Guys, did you know there's a Decode the Left YouTube channel? Now, this is a place where I post clips and stuff, but I want to bring it up because here it is. Subscribe to Decode the Left. There you go. It's on YouTube. I do have plans to make it a Rumble channel at some point to Rumble, but I can only do like 8 or 9 things at the same time. Let me put this in the chat in case you guys want to subscribe. And I will pin that message, and I'll pin the message on YouTube so you guys can subscribe there too. So the Decode the Left YouTube channel is basically where we post clips and stuff, and we're trying to organize them so that everyone can have access to the information. Now, the reason I bring this up is there are playlists. What I'm trying to do is make playlists every time we do a spy stream, because you guys are always asking me for clips from the spy stream. Well, guess what? You remember that spy stream we did on Sunday with the mayor of Chicago and that crazy flight attendant lady and the executive director of the Sunrise Movement and all that stuff? There is now a playlist over on the Decode the Left YouTube channel where you can find clips from that specific training, so you can share those out with your friends, or it's an easy place to find that content, or wherever. So the content is like stored there for posterity. And sometimes I post the same clips on my main YouTube channel, but most of the time I don't, quite frankly, because you guys usually don't click on them and it fucks up the algorithm for the main YouTube channel. But if we do it on the Decode the Left YouTube channel, I don't really care about the algorithm there. That's more of just like a warehouse for content. So if you guys want to subscribe there, that would be rad. I would really appreciate it. Thanks, Karen, for the super chat. You're a little bit late. That's all right, Karen. You're right on time. You're right on time. I appreciate the super chat. So, guys, do make sure you are a supporter on any of the platforms I mentioned. Again, that is YouTube, YouTube channel membership, Twitter subscriber, Substack member over at karlyn.substack.com, local supporter, Patreon supporter. If you are a supporter on any of those platforms, you will get access to Spy Stream tonight, and that does get started in just a couple hours. I'm sorry, Naruto, did I miss your super chat? I apologize for that. Let me just go through them real quick. Got to make sure we get all the super chats and acknowledge them. I apologize if I missed yours. Paul Revere, did I see yours? I apologize if I didn't, Paul Revere. Thanks so much for that super chat. Thank you, Walter, for becoming a member of the channel. Apologize if I missed that. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Got that one, got that one, got that one. I think I got all these. Thanks, Naruto. RCI released a video recently discussing Minneapolis, talking about how this is how revolutions start. So that's going to be Revolutionary Communist International. That is the international organization over Revolutionary Communists of America, and all of the different groups all over the country, or all over the world, rather. Revolutionary Communists of Canada. They have groups in Italy, Sweden, Switzerland, United Kingdom, Australia, I think. They've got a whole bunch of international groups that kind of align with the same Revolutionary Communist group in America. I do appreciate that, Naruto. Thanks so much for that update. Did I get everyone else's? I want to make sure I got everyone else's super chats. Prita, thanks for come for the purses, live for the spy streams. Exactly. Come to hear about my new purses and stay for the spy streams and the good information. I really do appreciate it, guys. So what are we doing between now and then? We are going to be watching a presentation that was streamed to Haymarket Books YouTube channel about 2 weeks ago. So I've been wanting to watch this presentation. I've had it on the list for a while, but protest coverage has just been so heavy lately that we haven't gotten a chance to watch it. But I do think it's going to be really informative and give us a lot of insight into how the far left is thinking about their anti-ICE organizing, the different things they're teaching in their community, and all that stuff. And for new people, 1 in the chat if you know what Haymarket Books is. 2 in the chat if Haymarket Books is completely new to you. Let me know. 1 in the chat if you know what Haymarket Books is. 2 in the chat if Haymarket Books is completely new. I know we have a lot of new people here, so I want to make sure we are teaching everyone. Oh, look at all those people who've never watched Haymarket with us. Wow. It's been a minute since we watched Haymarket Books, huh? It's been a minute. Okay. For people who don't know who Haymarket Books is a radical, revolutionary, socialist publishing company. Do you guys know how I talk about the socialism conference that I went undercover at? There's literally a conference called the Socialism Conference. Haymarket Books is the main sponsor and organizer of the Socialism Conference. They are the largest socialist book publishing company in the United States. They publish tons of socialist authors. We keep a very close eye on Haymarket Books because if you look at the books that Haymarket Books is releasing, if you listen to the presentations that are given through Haymarket Books' YouTube channel or through the Socialism Conference, you know what is the most influential message on the far left today, because Haymarket Books is a big player in the far left ecosystem. And the people who publish with Haymarket Books are the people who are driving far left activism. You know, we talk about the fact that, like, there are no leaders on the left. There's no leader, there's no hierarchy. It is a non-hierarchical, decentralized movement. However, there is kind of a collective group of people that have influence within that ecosystem. They are the authors, the activists, and the academics. Now, notice, I did not list a specific name. There's no one specific leader. There's no dozen people who are leaders in the I saw someone who doesn't understand the left make an analogy. They were like, it's like a corporation has multiple vice presidents. No, it's not like that at all. There are no named leaders on the left. The people who are leading, quote unquote, leading the left are the people who are articulating the message. They're the people who are writing the books. They're the people who are giving the speeches. And that could be hundreds of people, but they are the ones out there talking to people, traveling across the country, publishing books, teaching college classes, organizing the protests, like working at the organizations that drive a lot of this behavior. Again, the leaders on the left are the authors, the academics, and the activists. Okay, the 3 A's. If someone is in one of those roles, they are one of the people that's driving far left activism forward. So it's not a matter of name their leaders. There are no names. Because guess what, guys? If one of their leaders screws up, or if one of their leaders starts going off message, you know what they do? They pluck them out of the machine. They throw them away. They replace them with another cog. You have to remember, we are talking about socialists. We are talking about a collectivist ideology. Everyone in the collectivist ideology is nothing more than a cog in the machine. Every single person can be replaced. It doesn't matter how famous they are. It doesn't matter. Robin DiAngelo became a problem for them. So what did they do? They plucked Robin DiAngelo out of the machine. They threw her away. We have barely heard from Robin DiAngelo in years and years and years because they replaced her with someone else. And then the machine just kept moving forward. That is how the left operates. Okay. So if you want to know what the quote unquote leaders on the left are saying, you listen to the authors, the academics, and the activists. And by the way, one person can be all 3 of those things. Someone can be at the same time an author, an academic, and an activist. They can be all 3 of those things. And if they are all 3 of those things, then they have more influence than the people who are just one of those things, because they're talking to more people. They're getting their message out there. So if you want to know what the authors, the activists, and the academics are saying, you watch socialist book publishing companies. You watch the books being published. You watch the speeches that the authors are giving when they're doing their book tour. You watch what events are featuring these ideas, what venues are featuring these ideas, what ideas are showing up in the book publication more than other books. Does this make sense to everyone? If you want to know the ideas on the far left, you have to go to where the ideas are being propagated. They are being propagated by the book publishers via the authors, the academics, and the activists. 1 in the chat if you understand what I just said. 2 in the chat if you're still confused. Let me know. Let me get some more super chats, because I appreciate you guys. You guys rock, being so generous today. Where did I leave off on the super chats? Where did I leave off? I think I got that one. Got that one. Got that one. How about this one? I'm subscribed to Haymarket and do peek in there from time to time. Yeah, we watch a lot of Haymarket content. Haymarket does great content. They produce a lot of content. They stream their socialism conference. We make it a big 4-day event on the channel. The socialism conference every year is like a staple of the channel. We literally cover the whole thing from start to finish. We watch like 48 hours of socialism. It's fucking great. You guys are going to love it. For all the new people who've never experienced a socialism conference weekend, holy shit, are you going to have a good time this year? Lisa, thanks for the super sticker. Really appreciate it. Did you see the woke farmer put the video? I don't care about him. He's having a meltdown about local orgs turning on him after his arrest. I didn't see it, and honestly, he doesn't really interest me that much. He's like a crazy person on the left that's getting a lot of attention. The woke farmer is like one of those, the woke farmer is like a conservative distraction, essentially. He's not a leader on the left. He's not driving the agenda of the left. He's not driving the messaging of the left. He's just someone that likes social media attention, and so he's getting a lot of it. And conservatives love that shit. Conservatives love when a socialist is acting crazy and they can do clickbait content out of it. But the fact of the matter is like, I'm more interested in like who's actually influencing the agenda. We'll watch him for entertainment, maybe on a protest stream, but I'm not going to watch him when I'm doing a serious class. But I do appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So we are going to be getting into this presentation. This is going to be more of a research class, so we do expect people to take this seriously. Now, we can have fun in the chat and we can joke and all that, but I do want people to know when we are researching the far left, when we are listening to the far left, we take this seriously. This is a serious research group. This is a serious research community. We are doing research and deep dives that literally no one else on the internet is doing, okay? That is how we stay so far ahead of where everyone else is. W's in the chat for Old and Gray. Appreciate the 5 channel memberships, bro. Thanks so much. So we do ask that if you're going to be in the chat, please take this seriously. No owning the libs, no debunking, no bullshit, no shit posting. You are welcome to ask questions. Asking questions is encouraged. Saying you don't understand something, we want you to say that, because if you don't tell us you don't understand something, we can't help you understand it. And if you're still new to listening to the left, it might be difficult for you to understand them. What I need you to hear, though, if it is difficult for you to understand them, everyone in the chat that does understand them, we've all been in your shoes. We've all been there, okay? I learned how to speak socialist live on the internet. I had to fumble through this stuff for years to figure it out. Many people in the chat, especially the ones who've been around for 3-4 years on the channel, they all had to stumble through it as well. And everyone in the chat, for people who are new, we want to help you learn, but you have to help us help you learn by asking questions and letting us know when you don't understand. And just know that when we learn this stuff, we didn't have anyone to explain it to us, okay? So we had to fumble through it. Yeah, actually, this is funny. This is exactly what happens. We've been through the stages of grief with this stuff. Yeah, you will go through the 5 stages of grief as you learn how to speak socialist. Just a little warning to you. When I say when people join the channel as a member, when I say welcome to the cult, you're never leaving, your world is over, we're going to change the way you see everything, I'm actually not lying. I'm not lying. We are going to change the way you see everything. You will see everything completely differently after you consume my content for like 3 months. Maybe even after a couple weeks. There are people on the channel who say, Karlyn, I've only been watching you for a couple weeks, but like, holy shit, I had no idea. You give this channel 3 months of your time, we will change the way you see the world. And in some ways that's good, because we are hinging you into reality. We are showing you what's really going on. You never have to take my word for it. You're seeing the evidence directly. In some ways, it's a really painful thing to go through, because you have to realize that you've been lied to by a lot of people, and that sucks. That sucks. When I first started getting into this stuff, I got severely depressed for like about a year. I was severely, when people used to post clips of me yelling and screaming on the internet, it's because I was severely depressed, like much worse than I do now. Like I used to scream way worse than I do now. I was severely depressed from having to go through these realizations live on the internet. That's reality. And so I don't mean to tell you guys that to scare you away. It has good and bad to it, but you will go through the 5 stages of grief in the watching of this content, but you will also be hinged into reality. Okay? You will also be hinged into reality. So, that's what we're doing here. If you don't want to be hinged into reality, you don't have to stay. You've been warmed. You've been warmed. Glad you're live teaching, Karlyn. Keep up the great work. You're an awesome professor. I really do appreciate that. Cora says, hypothetical. What do I do the more I listen to the left and I find myself starting to agree with them? If you agree with the left, go become a communist, but you can't stay here. Go become a fucking communist. But you're not welcome here. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real clear. You become a revolutionary communist, you are persona non grata on my channel. If you become a communist, we are fucking enemies. You can get the fuck out. But if that's what you find yourself doing, then there's the door, bro. There's the door. Go be a commie. And I will spend the rest of my time trying to destroy you. You understand that? You want me as an enemy? You give it a shot. All right. All right. All right. Now that I have the warning out, let's dig into the video, shall we? Guys, we are watching a video on Haymarket Books' YouTube channel. This video is about 2 weeks old. What we saw in Chicago, lessons from the CPB surge. Everyone make sure you have mounted the like button for me. There is, per usual, a shocking disparity between the number of people watching right now and the number of people who have mounted the like button. If you don't feel comfortable mounting, give the like button a high five, give the like button a kiss on the cheek, put your arm around the like button, give the like button a slap on the ass, do whatever you need to do. But like the video. You like the video, more people are going to come and join us, and that would be rad. Yo, we got another 10 from Everett. W's in the chat for Everett. Thank you so much for being so generous. Welcome to all the new channel members. We appreciate you guys. Thank you, iBrew. Thank you so much for sharing your depression. I've been going through it since you showed me the truth. I have second-guessed myself, lost friends every day, feels darker, but I'm hopeful after hearing you that yes, it really is. It is completely normal. It really is, guys. There have been people who have had to take months-long breaks from watching my content once they realized what was going on, and they got depressed and they needed to take a little bit of a break. If you ever need to take a break, it's okay. I'm going to be here when you come back. It's going to be fine. If you want to commiserate with other people in the chat over, holy shit, what the fuck? We have an entire community of people who have been through this before. We have an entire community of people here who understand what this is like. What you're experiencing with the 5 stages of grief and getting depressed, it is normal. You are being told, not even just told, you are being shown evidence that everyone you have ever trusted to tell you the truth is lying to you. And that sucks. And that's really difficult to handle. And I'm really sorry to deliver that message, but you got to understand that I've been through this too. I've been through this multiple times. Many other people have been through it. We support each other in this community. So if you need to commiserate in the chat, commiserate in the chat. And you know, you're going to find people there that totally get it. I really do appreciate the super chat. All right, guys, let's get this party started. Let's dig into this presentation. I will be pausing the presentation throughout it to break stuff down, answer questions. Let us know if you have any questions in the chat at all. That would be awesome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the cult, bro. Your life is over. You're never leaving. We're going to change the way you see the world. It's going to be awesome. Core, I mean, how does one shield themselves from the left's insidious influence, in your opinion? You become inoculated to it by listening to them. What helps? I'm an enemy of the far left. How you shield yourself is you listen to it until you become inoculated to it. You go through the 5 stages of grief. You hinge into reality. You learn deeply what they believe. You will become inoculated to it the more you listen to it. So stick around. You'll see. You'll see other people on the channel will back me up on this. I think we got some gifted channel memberships as well. W's in the chat for Alicia. 5 gifted channel memberships. Thanks so much, Alicia. Welcome to all the new members of the cult. All right. Let's get this party started. Why isn't there any sound? Uh-oh.
They're down the hallway.
There we go. Oh, look, they're wearing masks. Oh, by the way, I should mention this. This event is being held at Haymarket House in Chicago, Haymarket House is a really nice brownstone owned by the socialist book publishing company, Haymarket Books. So, fun fact about that. Thanks, Maria. Welcome back to the channel. We appreciate you as always. So this is Haymarket Books' private venue, is what I'm saying.
Thank you for coming out on a very chilly Chicago January evening at a time when lots and lots is going on in the world that is probably crushing our spirits a bit. So thank you all for being part of this space. I think this is uplifting to come together, especially in times like this. Welcome to our event tonight, What We Saw in Chicago, Lessons from the CBP Surge. My name's Dana. I work here at Haymarket House. I'm so grateful to have all of you here. We have so many folks in person and also a lot of folks watching the live stream, which is amazing. If you're new to the Haymarket House community, we are a community event space. If you're interested in finding out more about upcoming events, we have some flyers in the foyer for some upcoming events, and we have some of our books. So Haymarket House is the home of Haymarket Books. So we are the publisher and we have a space. So I'm happy to talk more about either of those things if you are interested. Like I said earlier, it feels more important than ever for folks to gather in communities of care and organizing spaces like this tonight. So again, thank you all for putting aside whatever was on your plate today to join us here. These are hard times. Our loved ones are under constant attack. Many of us in this room have been on the front lines of the struggle in Chicago, and many of us are following what is happening right now.
Pop quiz in the chat. Pop quiz in the chat. Why is she wearing a mask? This is for new people because I know you guys are freaking out over the fact that she's wearing a mask, and I promise you everyone at this event is wearing a mask because the left still requires masks at all their events. Pop quiz for the chat. Why is she wearing a mask? Community care. Yup. Community care. Reagan, you're going to let everyone else answer. I know Reagan knows the answer. To protect the community from COVID. That's part of it. Yup. Yup. Community care. Yup. They still do believe that COVID is a real thing, but it's even more than that. It's not to hide their identity. She is announcing her name. Everyone in the room knows who she is. She's announcing who she is. It's not to hide their identity. They do wear masks sometimes to hide their identity, but this is their private event. Everyone in the room knows who she is. Everyone on the video knows who she is. She's not wearing the mask to hide her identity. Community care. Can someone please tell me a little bit more about community care? Because guys, new people who are watching probably don't know what community care means. Okay? She cares about the community. What does it mean? COVID-19 is still real to them. Community care. Yup. It does have to do with being a good comrade. It does have to do with that. Can someone please expand on that? And I'm a little bit behind in the chat. I'm just going to go through if you, it is to protect the community, but why? Why is it important? They believe in community care, but what does that mean, guys? What does that mean? To be in solidarity with the community? Yup. Nope. Not about hiding their identity at all. Everyone knows who she just announced it. Guys, why would she announce her name if she's trying to hide her identity? That makes no sense. She's announcing her name on video. They're doing it to protect each other. Yup. She thinks she's protecting them. She does. Yup, that's true. Masks are solidarity, protection, and a form of resistance. Let's see. I'm scrolling down to see if I can get anyone. Because not everyone can afford healthcare. Now we're getting into it. Because not everyone can afford healthcare. Because capitalism is an oppressive system that only provides good healthcare to some people and not to other people. And therefore, it is the community's responsibility to care for other comrades and be in good solidarity with the community by wearing masks to protect them from the evil COVID-19. Because capitalism has made healthcare unequitable. and unavailable to all. They believe, remember guys, socialism is a collectivist ideology. They do not see themselves as individuals. They see themselves as part of a bigger, it's basically the Borg, okay? They see themselves as part of a bigger machine. They really do believe they have a responsibility to the other comrades to be in solidarity, to protect each other from the evil virus, which they still, again, they still do believe that COVID-19 is a real thing. That is why they are wearing the mask. It is not to protect their identity. It is not because they are stupid. It is because they believe in community care and they believe in doing everything they can to protect their comrades. All right? No mask equals a selfish comrade. No mask equals you are not in solidarity with the community. Exactly. It is like forcing everyone to get vaccines. That's exactly right. Yep.
In Minneapolis. As we mourn and are outraged by those we have lost, rest in power, Renee Nicole Good,
Rest in
and
power.
Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, and the many others, many unnamed, who have been kidnapped and disappeared by ICE. We have to continue to resist, even though it is hard. The conversation tonight is about taking stock of what we have learned this fall in Chicago and preparing for what we know is to come this spring. And while we have seen so much violence and racism, we have also seen such a tremendous response from our communities here in Chicago. Folks defending our neighborhoods and our neighbors, and many people coming together to do whatever it takes to keep us safe. Before I introduce our speakers and we begin the program, I want to take a moment to shout out the sponsors of this event, not only for coming together for this conversation, but for being leading organizations on the front line.
Abortion is about liberating people from being part of the gender binary. So it's a different topic, but like the reason the left shouts their abortion and celebrates their abortion is because they believe it liberates women from the patriarchy or the gender binary, which is the oppressive hierarchy created by capitalism. By allowing women to abort their babies, they are freeing women from the oppressive role of being stuck in the house doing the unpaid labor of raising the next generation of proletarian workers within the nuclear family. That means the children. That's what abortion has to do with it.
Against ICE in Chicago. So a big round of applause first for the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. And another big round of applause for Organized Communities Against Deportations, OCAD.
Do I ever feel crazy saying this stuff out loud? No, because I know it's what they believe. I am teaching you what they believe. I am not saying what I believe. I don't agree with them. I am teaching you what they believe. So do I feel crazy that I understand the left more than anyone else on the planet? No, I feel really fucking smart. Honestly. Guys, do you know that socialists and communists on Twitter right now, literally within the last 24 hours, have been talking about how I understand them better than anyone else? I explained a very simple thing about the left on Twitter the other day, and communists were actually replying to it, and they were going, how does this fucking woman understand us better than anyone else on the right? And I've heard this from communists many times. Like, they know I understand them and their beliefs and their philosophy and their mindset and all that. That's why they're more scared of me than they are of most other people, because they know I understand them. So do I feel crazy explaining what they believe? No, not at all. I feel really fucking smart and like I've done my homework well and like my analysis is all right on. And you got to understand, for years when I was doing this, I wasn't actually sure that my analysis was correct. But in the last couple of years, it's just become so obvious that like I am the only fucking person in my community or the only people that actually understand what's going on. And everyone else is literally just making shit up. So I don't feel crazy at all. I feel really fucking smart and, I know what's up, and I'm going to make sure as many people as possible know what's up, and people can do with what that information, what they please. Hey, thanks, Loki. W, really appreciate it, bro. Congrats to the person who got the gift of channel membership.
And now I'm going to briefly introduce our speakers this evening. We're going to have a series of conversations amongst the panel up front, and then hopefully some time for Q&A. First, Ray Wences from Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. ICER, Ray. Ray has generously agreed to also be kind of a moderator for tonight's event, so participant and moderator, which is kind of amazing. Antonio Gutierrez from Organized Communities Against Deportations. And Illinois State Senator Selena Villanueva. And we are going to be...
Just to be really clear, the left is not opposed to having kids. The left has kids. This is another bullshit conservative talking point, and like Tim Pool has spewed this multiple times. He says they abort all their babies. No, they don't. Actually, no, they literally don't. Actually, let me show you this. Let me get it up on their website. Hang on one sec. So I told you that Haymarket. Ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Is the Socialism Conference website down? Hang on. No, I just went to the wrong one. Okay, let me show you this. Remember I told you that Haymarket Books is the sponsor of the Socialism Conference. This is the Socialism Conference website. I want to just... Where do they have it? I know they have it on here somewhere. Schedule, virtual program, more information. Here we go. Ticket, conference schedule, COVID precautions, how to get here, special accommodations. I'm looking for some childcare. Here it is. So guys, do you know how I know that the far left does not, in fact, abort all their children? Check this out. Socialists have childcare built into their meetings. At the Socialism Conference, and I went undercover at this conference in person. I saw this in person. They've got a whole fucking daycare. People bring their kids to the Socialism Conference. They drop them off at the daycare. There are volunteers in the daycare that play socialist games with the kids. They actually have entire socialist games created. Like they took Monopoly. Monopoly is obviously a capitalist game. There is a socialist version of Monopoly where you learn how to be a good member of the comrade and live on the commune. And you don't buy property and stuff like that. And you learn how to share and things like that make you a good comrade. So, and this is not the only one. The DSA actually has a whole training manual around how to set up childcare at your socialist meetings so that parents can bring their kids to the meeting so that they can do little socialist indoctrination with the kids while the adults are having a meeting. So they're not opposed to having kids. They have kids. A lot of socialists are second or third generation socialists. They just believe that without abortion, women are forced into an oppressive role in the home that traps them in the home under the thumb of the patriarchy. That's what they believe. But they're not opposed to having kids. When they say reproductive justice, they don't just mean abortion. They also mean having kids. And it also connects with universal health care because, of course, they want people to be paid by the state to have kids and to raise those kids in accordance with the state. They want the state to take care of all that because they believe that they're replenishing the labor force for like with the children and stuff like that. So there you go. Fun fact. Back to this.
Begin our program with a special poetry reading from one of our speakers,
a poetry
Juliet
reading.
De Jesus Alejandre, who's also a member of Palenque LNSA, which had a fundraiser here this weekend, I think. Amazing. Doing great work as well. So shout out to Palenque.
Yup. Yeah.
So I will turn it over to you.
Hello, everyone. Hey. Okay.
They don't go trans. Trans is a different ideology. This is going to be, we're not going to cover this today because it's way off topic. Trans and queer are not the same thing. There are different types of trans people. Many trans people have a mental illness, or they have some sort of sexual thing that they're doing by being trans. That has nothing to do with these people. When we are talking about queer activists, Queer activists want to abolish all gender. Queer activists do not want to transition gender. The left does not want to transition from man to woman or woman to man. The left wants to abolish gender entirely. They don't want the categories of men to exist. They don't want the categories of women to exist. They want everyone to be a non-binary they, them, because they believe that abolishing gender is the only way to achieve gender equity and to abolish the hierarchy. You abolish the hierarchy by abolishing the categories. That means abolishing gender. So they don't go trans so much. That is another conservative bullshit talking point spread by people who do not understand what the fuck they're talking about. They are queer. Queer means to go to transcend or transform the gender binary, to go beyond gender, to abolish the categories of gender. That's what they're doing. Now, if you don't know what you're looking at, it can be really easy to confuse trans people with queer people. But if you go and watch my Introduction to Queer Marxism lecture, you will understand this more. So go watch the re-education lecture, go watch Introduction to Queer Marxism. I explain all of that much more in depth. And thank you for the question.
I wrote this poem in the very, almost like, I would say within the first 3 weeks of the invasion.
Yes.
Yes. And so I haven't had time to update it much, right? So it's a very specific point in time, and it was after a really hard day. And I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was just like, I just need to document.
Guys, listen, I know there's a lot of questions in the chat, and I respect that there are a lot of questions, but we are on a time limit here today. I promise you I'm not opposed to answering your questions, but can we please keep the questions relevant to what we're watching on the video? That would be super, super helpful. We're going to have enough stuff to cover with the video that I don't want us to get pulled too far off track. But for people who have questions that we're not answering today, what I need you to do is go to my Substack. That is Karlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. I need you to click on this, new to my work, start here. And I need you to watch the re-education class. That will answer a lot of your questions. Once you get done that, you can watch the How to Speak Socialist class. That will answer more of your questions. And if you have questions about gender and queer and all that stuff, watch an Introduction to Queer Marxism. That will answer more of your questions. So I'm not trying to, deny people asking questions. I want you to ask questions. I just want the questions to be relevant to what we're watching so that we don't pause and go off track every 2 minutes. Okay? Just keep coming back to the streams. There's going to be plenty of time for you to ask questions. I promise you. Write your questions down in a notebook. Keep track of them. I will answer them all at some point.
What happened this day and this week? And that's really what it is. And so it's called I Love Chicago. And today it actually could be I love Minneapolis. I love New Orleans. I love Memphis, right? But as a daughter of migrations, I never really felt Chicago was my home. Right, because home was always Ecuador on my mother's side or Puerto Rico on my dad's side. And so I kind of like Chicago just felt like happenstance, right? And so then, but this made Chicago home for me in a way that I hadn't experienced, even though I was born here. So that's what it is. I have never loved my city more than I do now. Every block, every tiendita, street vendor, child going to school, every father in a work truck. Every viejita or viejito is my grandparent. Every scared yet miraculous mother is me. Every neighbor coming out with a whistle. I am the father taken on his way to work. The young girl with those eyes of terror that just wanted to speak to her brother before the van doors closed shut. The family at Millennium Park and the one on 47th, and I'm the kids left behind on the road. I'm the one who got ran over and stuffed in a truck with no medical attention by a demon. I'm Silverio, Keith Porter, y también Nicole. And the señora who got away, perhaps hiding in some backyard until the coast was clear. I'm the one shopping at the fruteria by my old grammar school and kidnapped by 12 men pointing assault weapons at my heart.
Yeah.
I am the
actually,
phantom.
Yes, this is a great question. Would protecting undocumented immigrants be a form of community care? Yes. Because everyone is in the community. All the comrades are in the community. If the undocumented immigrants are in the community, then they are a comrade in good standing. The rest of the community needs to stand in solidarity with the comrades. That is exactly right. Well done. That's what they mean, guys. When you hear them saying we keep us safe, who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about community care.
Whose only trace is an abandoned car or a tamal cart. I too am everyone coordinating, organizing, texting their comrades, blinded by tears, every person beeping their horns, everyone who runs out and films or screams. That person who picked up the tear gas and threw it back at the Nazi on Armitage, and that guy on Fullerton who yelled, block their asses in. The food delivery bicycler from that Sunday, and each Black and brown baby in that South Shore building who was zip-tied in their jammies as evil men lined up their parents to be stolen.
They believe all crime is created by capitalism. If we're talking about undocumented, so the question is even protecting criminals is a form of community care. They believe that all crime is created by capitalism, that capitalism is creating the so-called criminals. They believe that the borders are about capitalism. The borders are the enforcers of private property ownership. Capitalism to the left is defined as private property ownership. What do you need to have private property? You need a border. If you abolish capitalism, there is no border. Therefore, there are no illegals. No one is illegal on stolen land. That's why they say that. No one is illegal on stolen land. So they believe if they abolish capitalism, there will be no crime. There will be no illegal immigrants. So there is no crime taking place. They don't believe illegals are criminals, guys. At all. Yup. They do believe that. I'm not going into that right now, but yes, they do believe. They believe that virtually all crime is caused by capitalism.
And the Black woman who yelled, "Te quiero, Pepe," as the military men disappeared her friend or lover at pre-dawn. The guy on the west side who got choked out in Garfield Park, and everyone who understood in that moment that they're coming for us all. Senadoras running to warn her neighbors wearing heels, and alderwomen protecting a patient in Humboldt. The women who call each other to tell each other that the path to the laundromat or their baby's school is clear now. The folks taking groceries and medicine, and forever the rapid responders, the rapid responders, the rapid responders. I am in awe of you every moment of the day. For everyone finding new ways to be brave, big, and teeny tiny ways that add up. We need more. Join us. Take up a corner, blow a whistle, or yell. Check on your neighbors. Show up after school to make sure these babies are okay. I love Chicago in my bones now. Te amo un chingo, like my Mexican comadres say. Let's walk one another home. I love us so much. Thank you. Keep this on? Okay. Oh my God.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. Hi. Okay. Again, welcome and thank you for being here. My name is Ray. I'm the Director of Deportation Defense at the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. And I will...
I just want to point out again, this is not about protecting their identity because they literally just announced their name and their job. So this is not about, the masks are not about protecting their identity. It's about community care.
Try to do my best at moderating this conversation. We want to make it interactive amongst the panelists here. They all have contributed immensely to the fight against ICE in this moment, and they all sit at different points of this fight. So we'll get to hear about their experiences. I first want to just start with a little bit of the framing the moment, what we saw on the ground. And I'll start first by putting my phone on silent, like we should all.
Dorfus in with the good observation. Ray seems like a queer name. Yup, probably is. Sounds rather non-binary, doesn't it? Sounds like it could go either way. You're 100% right. Dorfus is learning, man. Welcome to the club, Dorfus. We appreciate you. Steven, we are watching this video on the internet. This video is on the internet, bro. Did you think that they didn't know did you think that they just saw the cameras in the room and they didn't know they were being recorded? Do you think that someone handed them a microphone and said, speak into this, and they didn't know that they were being recorded and that this was going to be put out for public consumption? Everyone was aware this is going to go on the internet, bro. Do you know that Haymarket Books has done an entire presentation where socialists whined and complained about the fact that I watch everything they do and record them? Like, literally, the YouTube channel that we are watching right now has done a presentation where multiple communists were whining about me specifically watching and recording them. They know, I promise you, that anything they put on this YouTube channel is going to be watched by me or someone in my community. They are very, 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 very aware of me. So no conservative rationalization and cope. It's exactly what I said it is. It is not about protecting their identity. Only retards think that someone says their name on a video and puts their name on a video and is trying to hide their identity.
Apologies about that. Yes. And then I'll continue by just, sharing a little bit of background in terms of kind of how I come.
Guys, just so you know, there is a retard icon now. And yeah, there's a chicken spawn found. Yeah, we have a retard icon. We have a retard emoji in the chat now, just so you guys know. You're welcome.
I came into this work and then how it all connects to what we saw on the ground. And so back in at the beginning of 2025, I received a call from organizers at ICIR and Organized Communities Against Deportations, or OCAD, because many of us were trying to figure out how to prepare or how to also take all the work that we had done over the years around deportation defense and pull it all together and come together and figure out how to fight back against the machine of deportations. And so I myself come from a long history of organizing against ICE. My first anti-deportation campaign was in 2009 when I was a freshman in college. And it was to fight to stop the deportation of, at the time, my friend who has passed away, Rigo Padilla Perez. And he taught me and pulled me into movement in ways that I had never been introduced to before. And I bring that up because I think that in many ways, the crisis that we have been facing has been calling us individually to figure out our role in this moment. And so for me, that decision point came when I was 18 in terms of joining the movement, understanding the systems, knowing that my own experience as an undocumented person at the time was...
Oh, sorry, Rumble, you guys don't have a retard emoji yet, but I'm working very hard on that. If only Rumble would provide adequate documentation to teach me how to use their platform. So this is a YouTube only retard button. I'm really sorry, Rumble. I wish I could give you one too.
Being crafted and dictated by things out of my control. And what I wanted to do was to organize and to find people that I could change things with, right? And so long story, now fast forward to 2017, Chicago actually had a really, really vibrant really vibrant ground of youth organizing in 2016, 2017. Do you all remember Black Youth Project, BYP 100? Have you all remember the People's Rapid Response Team, right? Asada's Daughters, right? These were all many of these organizations that formed here in Chicago and that started doing a lot of this great organizing. And what was happening parallel to some of that organizing was that...
Hey, we got a super chat. Thank you so much. Keep up the work waking up people to this existential problem. I've learned so much here. The administration needs to wake up. So true. So true. Thanks so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it.
rights organizers, specifically those that were fighting against deportations, we were also starting to make those connections. I look at my colleague, my comrade Antonio, for many years at OCAD, because in 2017, we were really, like, I think, looking for those points of solidarity, those points of like building across bridges. And I think at the time we realized, many of us kind of knew this already, we're fighting the same enemy, whether it's the police, whether it's ICE, the military. And so,
we're fighting the same enemy, whether it's the police or ICE or the military. We covered this last week, I think, for the left. When they're talking about ICE, CPB, DHS, the police, military, they're talking about the same thing. They believe that all of those organizations are the enforcement mechanism of capitalism. The police are the protectors of private property. ICE, CPB, DHS, they are the protectors of the border. The military is about imperialism and colonization and stealing land from the indigenous people. They literally believe that all of those organizations protect the same thing, which is capitalism. And so they believe that basically when they're using the term ICE, people rag on them. They're like, that's not ICE, that's CPB, or that's DHS, or that's this other thing, whatever. For the left, they don't actually give a fuck about the differences. It doesn't make any difference to them. Did someone just ban Tom? Unban Tom. No one is allowed to ban Tom. Jesus Christ. For the left, there is no difference between the police and ICE and CPB and CPB and DHS and the military and all those things. And she just said that, okay? So listen again.
Those points of like building across bridges. And I think at the time we realized, many of us kind of knew this already, we're fighting the same enemy, whether it's the police, whether it's ICE, the military. And so, in 2017, with the first Trump administration, the idea around documenting Migra Watch or Migra, the ICE, the feds, it really was inspired by the Black Panthers movement, by the work of the People's Response Team here in Chicago, that were literally going out and responding to instances where there were shootings, where people were being victims of police brutality. And so I remember we went to a training. Organizers from Oakland came over to kind of teach us more about cop watching. And then eventually some of us got together and developed Cop Watch into Migra Watch, understanding that, yes, we are fighting different faces of the system, right? Whether it's ICE, the military, or the police. And for us, it was important to adapt that concept and to make it something that we could use here in Chicago. And so then when the feds come to Chicago.
Hang on, we got a super chat. Aside from going full vigilante, what can people do? Forget everything you think you know about the left. Sit down, shut the fuck up, learn as much as you possibly can. I'm not giving people anything more to do until they do those things. The only thing that I personally can help people with is you have to unlearn everything you think you know about the left, because most people don't know anything about the left because they've been lied to by their influencers and their journalists and their commentators and their pundits and everyone they tell them they trust to tell them the truth. They need to forget every bullshit talking point. They need to start hinging into reality. The only way that you can do that is by sitting down, shutting the fuck up, and listening. And that is what people need to do. And until they do that, I'm not giving them anything else to do. Hey guys in the chat, do we have any thoughts about James Lindsay and New Discourses? Do we have any thoughts about James? Actually, let me answer that question in song. Let me answer that question in the form of a song. You ready?
He's calling out cults and conspiracies wild, Gnostic sex cults and theories compiled. But one question's raised and it's blocked on the spot. No room for dissent in the world he's got. But the crowd starts to laugh and they're starting to see a whole lot of words that just don't agree. Oh, Emperor James, are you feeling the breeze? Might wanna look down, see what's caught at the knees. He's the Emperor. with no clothes, strutting around like nobody knows, shouting loud, thinking he's wise, but he's bearing it all to everyone's eyes. He's the emperor, yeah, with no disguise, slipped down by his own price. The fat is an intellectual line. Oprah's got mind control, powers divine. He's calling Saint Michael the devil in charge, and telling the Catholics they got it too large. Oh James, don't you know it's a tricky game when you're calling out folks but you're doing the same. You say it's a truth only you understand, but the crowd's got a mirror showing just where you stand. He's the emperor with no clothes, strutting around like nobody knows, shouting loud, thinking he's wise, but he's bearing it all to everyone's eyes. He's the emperor, yeah, with no disguise, stripped down by his own pride. Start to fade and the truth comes around. His theories unravel like threads on the ground. The court starts to giggle, the people all cheer, for the emperor's naked, the truth's finally here. He's the emperor with no clothes, strutting around like nobody knows, shouting loud, thinking he's wise, but he's bearing it all to everyone's eyes. He's the emperor, yeah, with no disguise, stripped down by his own pride. So here's to the lesson, let's give it a toast to emperors walking in nothing but boast. Join Karlyn's cult and open your eyes. She's here to expose James's epic lies.
So that is how we feel about James Lindsay. We drove James insane. We did it. It was a 1.5 year long effort for us to drive him insane. It was a whole community activity. If you missed the whole driving James Lindsay insane, like time in this community, you really missed out. But in short, we think that James is a giant fucking retard who doesn't know what he's talking about, who has lied to and misinformed millions and millions of people. He is persona non grata. He has spread lies about me all over the internet. He doesn't know anything, like fuck him. Wow, I put a quarter in a music box I didn't even know existed. Yep. Sometimes we write songs on this channel, guys. We're not just all serious all the time. Sometimes we do write songs about our internet enemies. So here's more money for that. I've enjoyed some of his content before. You need to, if you want to understand the left, you need to forget everything that James ever taught you. I'm very sorry. I know that James's content can be convincing. There was a time when I really liked James. There was a time when I really respected and admired James. But if you want to understand the left, you have to understand that James doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And so you might have enjoyed his content, but you didn't learn anything. And in fact, you were probably misinformed by it. So please forget everything you ever have heard from James, because you will be a smarter person for it. All right, back to class.
Chicago ICE has been around here in Illinois for a really long time. We have been doing deportation defense for years now. We know that they have been targeting our community for many years using different types of ways to get at people. And so over time at ICER and with the support of OCAD and other partners, the Family Support Network Hotline grew as a way to try to connect people to other individuals, in this case, organizers, that could help them navigate the immigration system. And so I remember the first time that I had to work on a anti-deportation campaign. There were very few toolkits. There were very few things to like online to look for. We had to teach ourselves about like how to find people in detention and all of these things. And so over time, since 2011, the ICIRR has been really investing in this hotline as part of an infrastructure of larger support. This is about connecting people to people that can help them.
You hear that? They've been investing in those fucking hotlines.
11, the ICIRR has been really investing in this hotline as part of an infrastructure of larger support. This is about.
That's the hotline that people can call to report ICE. That the reports of ICE then get relayed into the signal groups.
Connecting people to people that can help them navigate the immigration system, and it also is about connecting people with the community organizations that are closest to them. And so when ICE comes over, right, CBP starts attacking our community. We know that in that moment there was a lot of crises, there was a lot of violence, a lot of pain, a lot of aggressive tactics. And so we went back to the switchboard and essentially started talking about how do we leverage the stuff that we have learned over the years? How do we leverage what we learned in 2009 around anti-criminalization of immigrants and fighting against that? How do we use what we learned in 2017 under the first Trump administration? And how do we use what we have learned over a decade of providing services and connections? And how do we leverage all of that in this moment, not knowing the scale of what's going to hit us, but knowing that we have tools that have worked in the past. And so I want to actually now hand it over to Antonio to talk to us about about the work and the labor that goes into preparing your team, yourself, to answer those calls that come into the Family Support Network hotline.
Thank you, son. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Again, Antonio Gutierrez, I prefer pronounce they, them. It is an honor to share with the other speakers in this panel, people that I have admired. I came into organizing 13 years ago at the age of 24, and I can imagine what Ray and many of the co-founders of OCAD were organizing before I came into the movement. I think with the FSN, the Family Support Network hotline, something to highlight as far as a difference from this year and what we saw in 2025 to previous years, because OCAD has been answering.
Hang on. No. This is not Soros funded. This is not Soros funded in any way. That's a lie. We don't repeat conservative bullshit talking points here. This is not fun. Guys, Haymarket Books is an extremely successful book publishing company. They sell books to colleges and universities all over the country. They're not funded by Soros. They don't need Soros money. Haymarket Books makes something like $6 million a year. They don't need fucking Soros. No retard talking points in the chat.
The FSN hotline for the option of deportation defense for a little bit over 10 years. And at one point or another, we had OCAD was an all-volunteer collective, and there were about maybe 6 individuals that would share a phone, a physical phone, that would receive all the phone calls from the Family Support Network hotline that were relating to deportation defense, meaning somebody was already detained, and the family members were wanting to.
So what's happened is, I want people to understand this. What's happened is, a lot of the anti-ICE activism is driven by immigrant right groups. Immigrant rights groups are designed to abolish borders. They want to get rid of all deportations. They want to get rid of ICE. They want to get rid of all illegal immigration by abolishing borders and making everyone legal everywhere. That's the purpose of immigrant rights groups, okay? Immigrant rights groups start these hotlines that people can call. When ICE comes to deport a family member for being here illegally, they call the hotline. The hotline says, here is how you avoid getting deported. And they give them information in order to avoid deportation because they don't believe borders should exist, so they don't think deportation should be happening. Once the signal groups started popping up, once the rapid response, and these hotlines exist all over the country. I documented this on my Substack last week. Once these signal groups started popping up, the hotlines started reporting into the signal group. So basically, people would call the hotlines, I've seen ICE at XYB location. The hotline then reports that into the signal group. Then people in the signal group go to the place where they spot ICE. So the hotlines became not just like a deportation defense hotline, they also became an ICE sightings reporting hotline that were connected directly to the signal groups. No, what? Yeah, exactly. Why would Soros give them money when they fund themselves? Exactly.
To get resources in many different aspects of the questions that they had after experiencing a very traumatic situation of being separated in many times violent ways from their family members. Later down the road, once we got staff during the first Trump administration, studying with Ray as one of the first staff members of OCAD in 2018, there were a couple staff members that were rotating the phone, one person per day, right? And they will answer all the calls that we were receiving. Sometimes the volume got, especially during the first Trump administration, to 40, 30 calls a day that were being administered at that time. People started passing the phone between each other or meeting with one another so that they can physically give the phone away to be able to answer the calls. That's not longer the case. So as soon as, and today, right, is the 1 year anniversary of the inauguration of this current administration, we have seen volumes that we never saw before in the last 10 years that we've been answering this phone. It will be impossible for one person or even a group of 5 individuals to answer.
I need to answer this question because this is going to be a question a lot of people have. Okay. You're talking about the WEF techno-fascists. The WEF wants open borders. The radical revolutionary socialists also want open borders. It can be easy to conflate the WEF with the radical revolutionary socialists. However, they are not friends. The radical revolutionary socialists do not like the WEF. The WEF does not like the radical revolutionary socialists. So even though it seems like they have some of the same goals, they actually don't. What's actually going on is they are two competing baseball teams. So think of the WEF as the Yankees, and think of the radical revolutionary socialists as the Red Sox. Now, both the Yankees and the Red Sox play the same game. They both have the same goals. They both want to win the World Series, right? But just because they're playing the same game does not mean they are on the same team. It means they're going to fight at some point. So it's not quite the same thing. I understand why you think it is. That's why I answered the question, because I know a lot of people are confused about that. And so it is true that they are both globalist, but they're not globalist for the same reasons. And just because they're both globalists does not mean that they're going to be like working together. They actually can't stand each other. So two teams playing the same game, had the same goals, playing by the same rules, they're going to fight. That's what's going to happen.
All the phone calls that we get, whether are related to the raids, which are close to over 6,000 calls, where we have reported and submitted information that we're storing in order to hold those agencies accountable when the time is right, but also to document the amazing work that the rapid response teams have been able to do, and also just community members wanting to use their phones and document as much as possible about the violations divisions and injustice that we're living day to day during this administration. For the FSN calls in relationship to option number 2, which currently stands for the deportation defense, or after somebody gets detained, there's been over 2,000 calls related to people being detained within the Chicago area. That doesn't mean that we only got 2,000 calls in the FSN, or that we got over 8,000 within the reports or rates and the deportation defense. That's just the individuals that we actually make a record or a report because they lived in Chicago. We're getting phone calls from other parts of the state of Illinois, from other states, and even internationally. There's been calls from Venezuela and Mexico and Guatemala because they get a hold of the hotline and they're calling because they just found out their family member in Georgia was detained, and now they're trying to find a way.
So you're telling me that someone on the left created an organization and that organization has jobs? The more questions I get like this, the more I'm actually convinced that conservatives actually don't have jobs. I hear all the time from conservatives, we have jobs, we have jobs, we have jobs, we have jobs. That's why we can't do anything. We have jobs. But the more I get questions like this, the more I really do believe that conservatives don't actually have jobs, because it seems like you guys don't actually understand how the world works and how organizations work. Guys, people can create an organization to do anything. You can create a nonprofit organization to do anything. You can start a small business to do literally anything. All you need to do is figure out a way to bring in money, either through donations or selling products and services or providing a service to the community. You need to figure out a way to bring in money. And when you figure out a way to bring in money, you can then create jobs to scale the organization to increase the effectiveness. This is like basic business 101. So there are a lot of organizations on the far left that do organizing. You want to know why? Because they created the organizations in order to facilitate doing the organizing and being able to do what they love full time. They created a business out of it, guys. That doesn't mean it's funded by George Soros. It means the left is so committed to what they're doing that not only are they not just being paid to protest in a form that, no, you're not listening. I need you to shut the fuck up and listen. Mouth shut, ears open. You are trying to, what you want me to say is they're all paid protesters. If I say they're all paid protesters, what you're going to hear from that is none of them really believe the things they say. They're only protesting because they get paid. That's how you're going to interpret that. That is a retard interpretation. If someone is so passionate that they are creating an organization, figuring out a way to fund that organization by selling products, selling services, providing value to the community, whatever they're doing, and they create so much money that they are able to hire people into their jobs to scale the organization. Guys, this is basic small business 101. This isn't even that hard. They're not doing it because they're paid. They're doing it because it is their passion. It is what they love to do. It is their identity. So every time you retards take this and you twist it to be, they're all paid protesters and they don't have jobs. No. They literally created organizations to go and do what they love full time and figured out a way to get paid for it. They are better business people than conservatives. Do you understand me? Every single leftist organization that has paid organizing roles, and there are paid organizing roles, they're not being organizers because they're paid to do it and they just can't do anything else, so they go do that. They are doing it because they created the job market for themselves. They are literally getting paid to do what they love. They created small businesses to do what they love. They created nonprofits to do what they love. That's literally what conservatives should be doing if they weren't so fucking lazy. So do you understand why I say they're not paid protesters? Because the minute I say they're paid protesters, one of you idiots is going to clip that and then twist it to mean something it didn't mean. And then you're going to go, none of them really believe anything. They're just doing it because they're paid. And that is not the truth at all. They are so passionate about what they're doing that they dedicate their entire lives to doing it. And that is why they are winning and you are losing. Hope that helps. And by the way, I did exactly the same thing that I just described. I created a business to give value to the community in hopes that people would pay me money for what I'm doing. And I'm very lucky that people do pay me money, and I appreciate every single person who does. I literally did the exact same thing. And I'll tell you what, I make more than the left does doing this, so I must be doing something right. I literally created a business in exactly the same way that the left is creating businesses to do what I want to do. Am I a paid protester? Am I a paid protester? Am I just doing this because I get paid, or do you guys think it might be more than that? Do you guys think there might be something else going on? Just saying. Oh my God. Oh my God. We are about to descend into conservative retardation. The college kids are just doing it because they get paid. Are you fucking stupid? Are you stupid? The college kids are doing it because they got indoctrinated into far left ideology from the time they were 5 years old. That's why they're doing it. Oh my God. From here on forth, all conservative retard talking points will receive a timeout. If you continue being retarded after I time you out, then I will permanently ban you from the channel. That's how we're going to deal with this little problem. I will not deal with the conservative retardation that this is going to cause. Did you see my video about... I did see that you sent me something about James. I just don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch James. James is a retard. He is unworthy of my time and attention. I appreciate you, little miss, and I appreciate the super chat. I'm not watching that video from James, though. I'm just not doing it. Thank you, Maria Callis. It's as silly as saying professional actors don't really love theater. That's exactly right. It's as silly as saying professional actors don't really love theater because they get paid to be actors. Exactly. It's so dumb. Or as idiotic as saying Christians get paid to go to church. Yeah, exactly. So dumb. Cynthia in with the 5 gifted channel memberships. W's to Cynthia. Thanks, my darling. I really appreciate it. Back to this.
That they're going to be able to communicate with their family members. All of those individuals, we tend to not make a record or a report of it for multiple reasons, but ultimately we still provide the resources as to how we locate somebody using the ICE locator that I'm sure many of you know about. And if not, it's an easy like Google search that you can do in order to find that. Or whether it's how to put money into commissary so that that individual can call you, hoping that they actually remember one phone number by memory at least, so that they're able to call somebody else. And unfortunately, people in detention are not able to call the hotline themselves, right? So they're constantly going to have to rely on somebody on the outside in order to make that phone call to us, in order for us to find the resources, provide them, which includes sometimes, in some cases, a legal referral to the legal aid partners that we work with under the MEDA network and TRP, the Resurrection
Everett.
Project.
W's to Everett, 10 gifted channel memberships. Really appreciate it, bro. You rock. Anthony in with the 5 gifted channel memberships. W to Anthony in the chat. Thanks so much, bro. I really appreciate it. Guys, guess what? We are 2 gifted channel memberships away from 100 new members of the channel. So we will probably, if we get 2 more new channel members, we will achieve 100 new members of the channel tonight. And that's pretty awesome. That's awesome. 30 purses now. You're catching up to me. Yeah, well, I may have bought another one today. Don't tell my husband. I definitely didn't buy another one earlier. Don't tell my husband. I promised I wasn't going to buy anymore, and I did. It was an Alexander McQueen, okay? It was a perfect Alexander McQueen. I couldn't help myself. I had to. It was an emergency. All right. It was an emergency. Yo, we got Lisa in with the 5 gifted channel memberships. W, Lisa, old granny, appreciate it. Welcome to all new members of the channel. You better fucking not. You better fucking not. Don't tell him.
The volumes of calls, right? Besides, it has been as high as in one point 142 raid reports in just one day. That was on October 16 of last year. And the volumes during Midway Blitz operation from September to November are on average at 70 calls a day.
Yeah,
Again, these are based on the reports that we made and not the volume.
So
sometimes we will get 50 to 100 calls on just one.
Listen, Reagan. I could be addicted to cocaine, all right? I could be addicted to cocaine. I could be addicted to heroin. I could be addicted to opioids. There are far many worse things that I could be addicted to that are not whatnot. They're far. It's like you know what? It's an autistic fixation. All right, I can't help it. I had to teach myself how to be autistic in order to do this, and now I'm focusing my autistic obsession on limited edition purses. All right, but I could be doing a fuck ton of blow. I could be like Nick. I'm not like Nick Rekieta spending $25,000 a month on a fuck ton of blow. All right, no offense to him. I understand he's doing better now, and I'm glad he's doing better now. I'm just saying that I could be doing far, far, far worse things than buying like purses on whatnot auctions. Okay, it could get way fucking worse. And I don't think anyone would blame me if I was more into drugs than I actually am. I mean, I watch Socialism for a living, guys. Would any of you actually blame me if I was a full-blown alcoholic or if I had a coke addiction? Just because I just smoke weed and I'm not even addicted to it. I can stop smoking weed anytime I want to. I just choose not to because God loves us and wants us to be happy, and that's why weed exists. But I'm just saying that there are worse things, and at least I'm not spending $25,000 a month on blow.
One specific event that is happening because multiple people are calling to report it and to alert us that something is happening or that they're on the move and they're no longer in that intersection they started 10 minutes ago, but now they're in another intersection or they're trying to enter a school, so that we can continue to update the rapid response teams and be able to hopefully get people to those locations. Some of the prep work that goes into all of this work, right, is ultimately that right now we have 20 operators just answering option number 2. And ICER is holding the ground on option number 1, which is to report raids. They also have their own set of operators. I think on average, we have about 30 to 40 operators at any given time. For the option number 2, we have to create a schedule. People are working on as an operator, as a volunteer, or as a stipend individual. So it's all part-time, and they have other responsibilities, other jobs that they have to attend. And so we want to have 2 operators per hour. We have to coordinate all of that scheduling and create a master calendar for the purpose of who's responding and at what time, making sure we're able to respond to those calls. And yes, it is not a perfect system, right? There's been, especially during Midway Blitz operation, that we were getting this huge volume of calls. At one point, I think ICER estimated 1,200 in just one single day.
That's exactly right, babe. Yeah.
Right? Then,
yeah.
Of course, there were wait times. Of course, people were not getting to a responder or an operator right away. We have troubleshoot that and continue to evaluate that. Now, ICER is only doing option number 1, while OCAT is only doing option number 2, so that when people call the hotline and they're just trying to report a raid that is happening in real lifetime, our operators from OCAT's part don't have to rush through that call in order to dispatch the rapid response teams, because ultimately the calls for somebody being detained and trying to obtain as much information about that person so that we can do a legal referral takes more than 5 minutes.
So he's just saying, I want to make sure, I know people are distracted by his accent, but you need to look beyond that. You need to listen. What he's saying is when people are being detained by ICE, they call the hotline to report them being detained, and that information is relayed to the rapid response team, which is the signal group. Everyone understand that? I don't want to have to rewind and have to listen to Spanish again. So I hope everyone understood that.
It can, on average, be 30 minutes, if not an hour, right? And ultimately, you're also dealing with people that are experiencing trauma and that are in crisis mode and survival mode. And we have a responsibility to be trauma informed in that.
Why is the DSA trying to get people jobs? I'll tell you exactly why the DSA is trying to get people jobs. The DSA is currently working on a nationwide salting campaign. I wrote about this months ago. I released videos on this months ago. Basically, salting is the idea that the DSA will get you jobs in organizations that they are trying to create unions in. So the DSA will help you get a job at Amazon because so many DSA people work at Amazon. They are trying to get people as many jobs at Amazon as possible to get those people into unions at Amazon to agitate within the unions to use them for far left organizing. They might get you a job at Starbucks because that's one of the organizations that they work with, where they're agitating to create unions to do this mass general strike. So what this is, and I've actually literally, I went to a 3-week series that the DSA did on this. I covered it on my Substack and on my Twitter back at the time. The DSA will help you get a job in an organization that they are trying to develop a union in. They are using the unions to do far left organizing to prepare for the May Day 2028 protest. They're also going to use it for the May 2026 protest. You can go back. I see Sam Victor has put in the chat the link to the videos on that. So yeah, that is why the DSA is trying to get people jobs. It's not to make them paid protesters. It's to get them into organizations where they are agitating to create unions and be in control of the unions so that they can all go on a mass general strike to shut down the entire economy. And I have them on video saying all of this, like explicitly. They did a 3-week training on it. You're welcome.
Process and respect that we're not just going to be able to answer or ask all the questions that we need, that we also need to give some kind of sense of compassion and a sense of understanding and connection to that.
Super chat. Thanks so much. As a comparative example, why people have a hard time believing the protesters aren't paid, Mormons go on a 2-year mission, create many. That's exactly right. The Mormons go away for 2 fucking years. Many create conspiracies about Mormon faith the way the right does about comments from the far left. That is actually a really great example to use. Guys, sometimes people are committed to the things that they believe. They are so committed that they will literally sacrifice years of their life to fight for things that they believe. Mormons go into a mission where, like, for 2 years, they go someplace and they don't even pick out where they go. And their job is to be missionaries for 2 years because that is their religion. That is their belief system. They are acting in accordance with their beliefs. In exactly the same way, the left wants to do organizing all the time. So if they can create ways to do organizing all the time, they're going to do that. Has nothing to do with being paid protesters. Being an organizer is actually a really difficult fucking job. They're doing it because it is their belief system, it is their identity, it is their ideology, it is what they believe is true and how they're trying to change the world. Great example. Thanks for the super chat.
Individual on the other side of the phone call. So people also receive training around trauma informed, around how to deal with secondary trauma, which is very real. All of our operators are OCAD members that have been long-term fighting for their own cases or supporting their family members. And so there's a lot of personal connection to the work of what they're doing besides just answering the phone. And they also meet monthly, on a monthly basis at least, in order to discuss patterns, trends, troubleshoot, edit the case form that they use, which they ultimately get trained around it, and constantly are in conversation and connection with one another using secure channels in order to kind of update one another or ask questions to the whole collective in order to then be able to answer them. So those are some of the things that I'll mention about that.
Thank you. If you all have questions, follow-ups, write them down. We'll hopefully have some time for Q&A. But I want to go to Senator Villanueva. Antonio, Selena. So Antonio,
Senator.
you mentioned the fact that, you know, people are calling, right? And so the question for you, Selena, is what are people looking for when they go to the district office? I am assuming people are calling everywhere. And then also a similar question, how did your office prepare for the Midway Blitz and just the attacks from ICE last year?
So I am a former ICER staffer. I'm not just a regular run-of-the-mill state senator. Like, I was literally working at ICER up until the moment that I got appointed to be state representative.
Again, this is a socialist publishing company, guys, and a state senator speaking at their anti-ICE meeting.
Yeah. So it isn't something where it's like this is not like unnatural to me, because I think when Trump, I'm not even gonna say was elected, election night, the writings on the wall, we had seen it in 2016. We knew what was coming and could only anticipate what was coming. And it was the same thing this time, obviously. We just knew that it was going to be a lot worse. And there were a lot of conversations that we were having at the state level, you know, including with the governor and a lot of folks, of what to do to prepare. I represent the southwest side of the city of Chicago, so it's neighborhoods like Pilsen, Little Village, Brighton Park, McKinley Park, back of the yards. Like I'm representing like it's ground zero. Like I know that they're targeting all of us, but when Greg Bovino's in front of the fucking bean saying Little Village, like it's personal. And I know it's personal for all of us, but he's specifically trying to go.
The spy stream tonight, guys, is members only. I'm very sorry. Most spy streams will be members only. So so you still have plenty of time to buy a channel membership if you would like to do that, or to join in another way. We will be starting that in about 40 minutes or so. So still plenty of time to pick up a membership.
People, and particularly, and it's a lot. There's a lot that's going on, but there's a reason why he specifically said that. And I am a very proud Little Villager. Like I am proud as hell of being where I'm from. But I knew internally, like as an office, we needed to figure out what role we were playing in all of this, because unfortunately we are not lawyers. We can't provide legal advice, you know, but there are other things that government offices can do. And this was going to be very crucial, unfortunately, throughout the whole operation. Midway was, they were grabbing undocumented people. They were grabbing whoever they could. And while we were making sure that people were notifying and calling the network or the hotline, we also had access to federal level offices that could potentially try to find people a lot quicker. And so our goal was, with every kind of instance that we saw things happening, was trying to get information, correct information for family members, for loved ones, of trying to make sure of working very closely with the rapid response groups in the area and following their lead first and foremost. But second of all, also working with government agencies to try to find people where we could. And this was really going to be really crucial when it came to particularly US citizens that were being kidnapped and no one could find them. Because at the very beginning, nobody knew where they were going to be taking them, because we had an instance where they took people to Broadview and then they let them go, but didn't tell anybody. And then they started taking them to the FBI building. And so it was bits and pieces of trying to figure out like where people were at. And that's where we as government entities can try to get that information. Now, I'm not saying that says I have a database and I can try to find people as a state legislator. I don't. We don't have access to those things, but we have relationships with federal offices that have the ability, because their accountability is for those levels of government. For example, I can yell at ISP, which I've done a lot. And threaten a lot of things.
Can you tell us what ISP?
ISP is the Illinois State Police, because that is under the jurisdiction of the state of Illinois and the Illinois General Assembly. I can yell at CPD, but technically they're not under my jurisdiction because I don't work at the city level. I can yell at ICE, but technically ICE is not under my jurisdiction because I am not a federal elected official. And so when you're looking at things like that, like you really have to understand how those things kind of operate. So, you know, like your Congress people should be doing a hell of a lot more and yelling a hell of a lot more than what they're doing. It's great that they're in front of a microphone. God loves, you know, I love a microphone, but you got to yell behind closed doors too, and like really stick it to people. And by sticking it to people, I mean like really bad. I have a reputation of yelling at a lot of people. But it was the role of how do we help support what's already happening and not overstep, because the reality is I have a small office. Like we don't have large sums of money to hire a lot of people. Like my team is literally 2 people and myself. Like we don't have a big team. And so It'd be one person at the office answering phone calls as things were happening. It was one of my other staffers that was on the ground, and I was on the ground. Every time somebody was like in the neighborhood or they needed us to do something, like, you know, where the rapid response folks would be like, hey, can you take this, or can you come here, or, you know, wherever we would potentially be needed. But
I want people to understand this. I want people to really, really, really understand this. Do you know why people in my community were not at all surprised about the Signal rapid response groups? Because we've been listening to local elected officials in presentations all over the country talk about their direct participation in those Signal rapid response groups for months. I want people to really understand this. You guys think that Cam Higby was the first person to discover the Signal rapid response groups? This is a state senator in Illinois. We have literally been listening to people like her talk about being part of these Signal rapid response groups for months. And now for everyone that this is new information for, I want you to think about, why did you never hear about this from conservative media? Why was the first you heard about this 6 months after I started reporting on it with videos like this? And by the way, this is a public video on the internet. Everything I use, well, not everything, the spy streams aren't usually public, but like the vast majority of things that I use are publicly available content on the internet. Cam Higby was not the first to report on the Signal groups. He's just the approved conservative voice to deliver that message. They ignore everything else that is not the approved conservative narrative, which is why you didn't hear about it until a couple of weeks ago. Really think about that.
The other big role that that I play as a legislator, and also why it's important to have people that are coming from movement into these positions, is I'm not the only former organizer from ICER that is a state legislator. And that's very relevant when we're talking about the budget of the state of Illinois. Because while the federal government might try to supersede, we're going to fucking sue the shit.
Oh. Why aren't there more people picking up on my info? Why are they not paying attention? You gotta ask them. They all know about me. 100% of the people in that world know who I am. I promise you. 100% of the influencers that you guys listen to from the conservative media have been sent my information on more than one occasion. 100% of the people in conservative media have had people from my audience in their replies trying to show them the information. Do you know how many of your conservative media have blocked me because I wasn't shilling the narrative that they wanted me to shill? Do you know how many members of my community have been blocked by your favorite influencers because we weren't shilling the narrative that they approved of? It's not that they don't have access to it. It's that my information debunks so much of the bullshit that they tell their audience. So if they shared my information, they would have to admit that they were lying to their audience all along, or that they just didn't understand what the fuck they were talking about. And so they misinformed their audience because they didn't understand it. And that is what is going on here. This is why many of you have just recently found out about me, because I found, finally, at long last, broke through the conservative gatekeeping apparatus that kept this information from you for a really long time. And if you don't believe me, try sharing my content with them at some point. Share the clips I post on Twitter, share the streams, and see what they do with it. Because I'm telling you, they're going to do nothing, and you might even get blocked by them for trying.
Out of them because they can't tell us what we can do with our state budget. And that also includes helping with hotlines, because FSN is not the only hotline. When we talk about abortion care, we also got a hotline for that. And you know what pays for that? State funds. But it's also the expansion of programs like the immigrant, the line item is the immigrant services line item that works with and helps to provide citizenship resources and legal support. But guess what? That can also be expanded to include other things in this moment. And I wanted to share this because I recently had a conversation with a colleague, a very well-meaning colleague of mine, who had no idea why we push for certain things in our budget. And me being part of the Latino caucus, why we push for certain things, because she was under the impression that we weren't doing anything, that there wasn't like a state response to what was happening. And I was like, what, why do you think I yell so much? Like, why do you think we're constantly fighting over the bits and crumbs of the state budget to try to get more money to ICER, or try to get more money to the organizations that are doing, you know, like defense work? It hasn't always been CBP coming in and trying to take control. The reality is we got documented people who have been threatened, like DACA being the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. Why were we not helping them legally? Like, why was it just solely focused on, you know, legal permanent residents trying to become citizens, which is very important, by the way. But like, why do you think we've been fighting to expand and include other people in the support that could be helped through the funding that we're getting through the state of Illinois? And her mind was blown. She was like, oh, that's what you guys have been doing? And I'm sitting there like,
was the No Kings rally a part of this? Yes and no. The No Kings rallies are not on the far left. So when I say the far left, I am not talking about Democrats. I am not talking about liberals. I am not talking about progressives. We are watching socialists and communists right now. These are socialists and communists. That is not the same as Democrat, liberal, or progressive. The No Kings protests are progressive. So they're run by progressive organizers with ties to the Democratic Party. Are they part of this? No. But these people take advantage of the No Kings protest to try to recruit and radicalize more people to their cause. So these people are most likely not going to be involved with the organization of the No Kings protests. They're not likely going to be involved in the messaging of the No Kings protests. However, the No Kings protests attract millions of people. They're giant events. And so what these people do is sometimes they march in parades connected to the protest. Sometimes they have tables at the protest. Sometimes they just go and they hand out flyers in the crowd at the protest. And they use the protest to try to recruit and radicalize more people to the far left. But the No Kings people don't like ICE either, but they're using it as more like a political talking point to try to get Democrats elected. These people don't care if Democrats get elected. This person's more of a DSA type because she holds elected office. But for the most part, like, these people don't care about Democrats. They don't vote for Democrats. They don't like Democrats. They don't think Democrats support them. So it's kind of like, is it directly involved in this? No. But do these people kind of piggyback onto it to try to drive their little movement forward? Yeah, of course. It just makes sense to. Good question.
Yeah. Just sign up, just say yes. And when I tell you to speak and say I support this, just go ahead and do it. Because we've been fighting and we're going to keep on fighting to try to get more money. But if people who claim that they're allies have no clue what the hell is going on, like, that's also part of the work of trying to educate them, to get them to understand why it is imperative that we, especially at the state level where we can do more.
Thank you for that. I mean, yeah, I gonna do a tangent here. I'm gonna take moderator / panelist privileges. So I actually used to work at the city of Chicago. I was the first deputy of immigrant, migrant, and refugee rights for about 18 months. And one of the things that I as you were sharing, I think one of the roles that sometimes doesn't get talked about a lot in government is the role of people that are values aligned and that can bring others in the aisle to this side, or to the side that is more aware, maybe more open-minded, more willing to maybe not do the things the way that they are used to do. Were there any instances like that at the state level this year or last year where you felt like there was a shift for people? Can you tell us about that?
So during veto session, and we felt it during regular session. So our regular session is basically January till the end of May. We just started regular session last week in the Senate, and the House is down there right now. There was a major shift that was kind of already occurring during regular session, but it really crescendoed during our veto session, which happened in October of this past year, where I had legislators, like colleagues who were representing like collar counties, calling and saying, what's the hotline number? I have one of them in particular was like, my niece's boyfriend is undocumented and we're afraid. And this is a moderate who was like, really had to be pushed on things. And it was just like, okay, here's the information. What do you need? Like, what's going on? Like, how can I help? Because again, I'm coming from ICER, so I kind of know like, okay, let me point you in the right direction instead of like, you know, just like kind of giving you like, you know, an overall thing. And when conversations, like, I'll be honest with you, I've been on the ground. I've seen my loved ones, I've seen my friends, I've seen my colleagues get tear gassed. Like I literally saw my alderman, who I'm very close with, like who was family to me, get like it wasn't a tear gas canister, it was the flashbang canister literally thrown at his feet. And I was like at the end of this room and he was over here. Like and it's one of the like the surrealist things in the world to kind of be living in a war zone and you're like in your home. And so when you're seeing things like that, it was after one of the incidences in Little Village, I think it was like at the discount mall, that I came racing to Little Village because I was actually in the West Loop, but I came racing to Little Village and I broke a lot of laws in order to get there. And I said, if anybody catches me, like I'm going off, but whatever. And this was when Greg Rovino was throwing fucking tear gas canisters in Little Village and like trying to tackle people. We had a caucus call right after that. And I was actually on my way walking back as everything kind of died down and the crowd died down. I was walking back to my car and I got on this caucus call. It was a Zoom call and somebody said something and it triggered the shit out of me. And I went off and I just started bawling and I was like, I want you all to understand the reality of what the hell is going on. This is on TV for you. I'm literally walking away. I'm walking over fucking tear gas canisters. Like, this is real. And for anybody that thinks that we're going to sit down and not do anything, like it was a unanimous understanding, at least on our side of the aisle, of we're putting something on the board and we're doing something because we cannot leave here and not do anything. Like, we just can't. And it was really surreal because that has never fucking happened. We have had to.
They did win. They did. ICE basically left Chicago. There are no mass deportations happening in Chicago right now because they won. So
I've had Black male legislators, like friends of mine, literally crying to try to get colleagues to understand their humanity in the post George Floyd, legislative, session to try to do something in terms of police accountability. And it was so heartbreaking to see how people were unresponsive to that. We got the votes that we needed for it, but in this situation, it was so surreal to kind of see people who were like hands off say, no, we're voting on this. We got to put it on the board. Like, we got to go. And it was like, okay, I hope that this is the wake up call for people to really understand that, like,
Okay, again, I'm just going to point this out. This presentation has been public on the internet for 2 weeks. We just got around to watching it. Why doesn't the Trump administration know what this woman is doing? This woman is elected representative in the state of Illinois. She is a state senator. You guys want her to get arrested? Go talk to the Trump administration. This is a public presentation on the internet. This is a presentation hosted by the largest socialist book publisher in the United States. It is public on their YouTube channel. Everyone and their mother has access to this presentation. Why hasn't the FBI watched it? Why hasn't anyone in the DOJ been made aware of this? Why doesn't the Trump administration pay attention to what's going on at all? Why do I know more about what the far left is doing than the fucking FBI? Why does my audience know more about what the far left is doing than the fucking FBI? You want them to be arrested? Go ask Trump why he's not doing anything and why his FBI doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Literally, if the FBI just watched my channel, they would know more about what's going on the left than they do right now. I promise you. Yo, welcome to the cult, bro. Welcome to the cult. Your life is over. We're going to change the way you see the world. You'll never be the same again, but you'll have friends during the revolution. We appreciate you.
We can't go back. This isn't just about like about immigrants and about what's happening here. Like, this is inclusive of what's happening to Black people in our country. This is inclusive about what's...
Yo, we got a super chat from Everett. Thank you. X put a limit on my post because they said I was spamming your content for a direct message. The fuck? I can't control X, Everett, but I do appreciate you trying, and I do appreciate the super chat. Thanks so much, bro. You rule.
Happening with law enforcement in this country and the way that we view just this country in general and our rights. And so it really was a very surreal moment. I don't know where we go from here, to be 100% honest with you. I don't know if this momentum continues. I don't know if it's a feeling that's going to continue. I know that we're going to keep trying to push for it and try to do more as much as we can possible. I think oftentimes people think that we could do a lot more than what we can do. And I hate to tell you, like, government is not a reactionary entity in the sense of like we're nimble and we're quick enough to do something the next day. That's not how it works. But within what we're able to do, there are a lot of us that are trying to fight.
Thank you for that. We're going to move on to Juliet. I think one of the people here that has more flexibility in her role, right? But first, I also want to just make a mention of a lot of the stuff that you were sharing, Selena, in terms of just the reality, right? That shift and, you know, sitting from the perspective of someone that has been doing this work and, you know, seeing the chat, seeing the reports come in of all the raids that were coming in. It was really tough. It was really tough. There were times when I felt like,
hey, little miss, thanks so much for the super chat. Karlyn, I hope more realizes using primary source evidence here is not us trying to set a narrative of what the left is doing. This is real and dangerous. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, listen, certainly I have my interpretation, but I show you the full primary source and you can decide whether or not you agree with my interpretation. But I think my interpretation is pretty detached and nuanced. So thanks so much, little miss. I really appreciate it.
Really worried for myself and for the people around me, around mental health, around disassociation, around just like, where do we go from here when, you know, our community is in pain and calling us, and also like balancing that and taking care of ourselves. Another thing, right, is that shift was also I want to assume because of the images, the reality, that all of a sudden something that some of us had been fighting against for many years, it all of a sudden was in front of everyone's faces, right? Every specific neighborhoods, for sure, in Chicago, we're seeing the specific suburbs in Illinois, we're also seeing this. Let's not forget, right, that there are many immigrant communities outside of the city that have also been under attack. And to this point around, you know, the attacks being in our face, you walk out the door, ICE is there. You all mentioned rapid response. Juliet, can you talk to us about what your community did to prepare ahead of the raids?
Yeah, Julia, please talk to us about how your community built a rapid response network. What a great question.
What it took to mobilize the community, especially under pressure at the height or when Midway Blitz was starting. What worked, what didn't, and what was the hardest?
So yeah, so we're a community-based organization, which I call like we're gangs, like gang, you know, we have turf.
They're gangs.
And so I come from that tradition. So that's my lineage. And so for us, it's Hermosa, Logan Square, Avondale is where we primarily work. And because that's where we build power with mostly immigrant mothers, Latina immigrant mothers, who send their children to public schools, and their sons and daughters and children, right? So that's really our base. And then by extension, right, who else is in that school? what's happening in that community. And if you know the northwest side of Chicago, you know that gentrification is a huge issue. Displacement, Logan Square alone has lost over 20,000 Latinos in the last 20 years, right, due to rising rents and mortgages and property taxes. And so we really build and listen to what our mothers say we need to be doing, right? And so it looks like land trusts, it looks like tenant rights, it looks like, let's get into those schools. And so one of the things has always been also immigration. And I learned this actually from some of our young people. They're like, yes, we need support on understanding our rights, but also we need to create conversations where it's not all about whether we have papers or not, right? Like, what does it mean to live in a community and to be whole human beings regardless of having the right paperwork? Because if that's the only focus of our organizing,
bro, listen. Well, I appreciate that everyone has lived experiences. Chicago is incredibly socialist. So Chicago has a socialist mayor. So let's not pretend Chicago is a conservative bastion. It's not. Chicago is a leftist hellhole. And the reason that Chicago is a leftist hellhole is that it has been run by the far left for like generations. So while I appreciate that you might know one or two conservatives in the greater Chicago area, Chicago has a socialist mayor for a reason. Okay? So let's hinge into reality. Just because you know someone does not mean that person is representative of the entire city. They're just not. Thank you, Independent Thought. Welcome to the channel, bro. Welcome to the cult. Your life is over, but, you can hang out with us for a while. We appreciate you.
There isn't, right, a solution, right, a policy solution to that, then what does that say about my life, right? And so that's also been part of our organizing. So as we were getting ready and listening to what our moms and our young people were saying, one, our mamas were holding it down since like, I don't know, it feels like 2 summers ago, had been at the schools, obviously, at laundromats. And so, the FSN number was being circulated before Trump was even elected, right, in the community, because we saw it. They felt it.
The hotline was being circulated even before Trump was elected because they anticipated that mass deportations were going to be a thing. How funny. I've been reporting that the left was organizing against ICE since before Trump was inaugurated into office as well. Isn't that funny? Didn't Jesse Smollett teach us that Chicago is MAGA country? Well, not well enough, apparently. Not well enough. Thanks so much for the super chat. Guys, we're going to listen to this for just a few more minutes. We are going to be moving into Spy Stream. So if you are not yet a supporter and you do want to attend Spy Stream tonight, now is going to be your last chance to sign up either as a channel member, or you can join my Substack, which is karlyn.substack.com, or you can join my locals, my Patreon, subscribe on X. You can find the information on all those platforms, but if you want to join us for Spy Stream tonight, you do have to be a supporter on one of those platforms. May I suggest either a YouTube channel membership or join my Substack, karlyn.substack.com. Either is fine, and I appreciate it.
They knew it. They had lived through it the first time. And what's interesting also about the Northwest side is that we have a lot of allies, right? And so the power dynamics between people whose identities are on the line constantly in so many different ways, right? So again, housing, right? Schools, all the things, and now also immigration. It's so important for us to really keep that tension that nobody's saving anybody, right?
Massive W's for Greek Heat in the chat. Welcome to 20 new channel members. Congrats to everyone who just got gifted a channel membership to come and join us on Spy Stream tonight. I really, really do hope that if you got gifted a channel membership, please utilize it, guys. People are being so generous in gifting these channel memberships out to the community. Please utilize the channel membership and come to Spy Stream, okay? Thank you so much, Greek Heat. We really appreciate you. Thank you for being such an amazing supporter, and welcome to the 20 new members of the channel.
right? Like, you are not the savior here. I think Nicole Good's horrific death has taught us that we're all of us, right? Unless you're a billionaire, we're all who they want, right? The beast wants to eat us all. And so if there is no heroes, right, then who are we to each other, and what are we trying to do? And so I think as we think about preparing, what we've prepared for the Blitz was just lots of training, right? Training on not only know your rights, but Migra Watch, right? And how do you recognize, is this border? I mean, I remember the whole trip up of like, oh my God, how am I going to remember what's Border Patrol versus ICE versus FBI? And now they're just like federalizing everybody, right? Like literally, like it's like slides, right? You're looking at like shields, crests. That's what those early trainings were like. You know, at different points we broke our Zoom counts, right, for the number of people who wanted to be trained in community. And then it's the challenge of like, how do you plug people in, and what are, right, not everybody can, right, respond to ICE, right? And so like, what does it look like to kind of keep people engaged beyond, I think like the sexiness sometimes that people feel that there is.
Yo, we got a super chat from Little Miss. My donation for Spy Stream early, and much love and respect. Jenny and Julietta say hi to. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Little Miss. Hi, Jenny and Julietta. Appreciate you guys. Take care of your dad for us. We need him around, okay? What is a Substack? Go to karlyn.substack.com and you can find out. There you go.
Of it, that a lot of organizing work is really, really unsexy, right? It's calling people and bringing food and, right, and all the things that we know that go into it. So anyways, right now, what I'm feeling called to is that, like you were saying, Selena, like, I don't know what it is, right? And I think we do know what it is, and it's fucking scary. Because if we allow ourselves to really understand where we're at, we would understand that it's the end of life as we know it here in this country, and that people around the world have been here before and are here now too, right? So that's the other thing. It's like American exceptionalism, like we think we're so exceptional that we're the only ones in the history of that ever has gone through this, and it sucks, it does. But thank God that there's lessons and there's wisdom out there that we can be borrowing from. But when we look at like what South Korea has done, right? Like the level of, to me, is like, that's a communication game, right? The fact that like in South Korea, that progressive labor and civil society sent out texts so that like 100,000 people within 6 hours were mobilized to go to the state capital. To the country's capital. That is amazing. So like, I'm like, how do we
welcome to the call,
that,
Christine,
right? Like, how do we turn these signal chats of, it's some more impressive, right? 1,000 people in a community, we're like, that's pretty good.
They had over 1,000 people in their signal chats months and months and months and months ago, and they were talking about it openly, and no one fucking listened. You know what? I think that's a pretty good way to end the stream today. I know we didn't get through the presentation, but that's all right. Thank you, W's, for Christine gifting out a channel membership. All right, guys. And this is a perfect freeze frame to end on too. We've peaked with this presentation. We've learned as much as we can learn for the moment, because we do have to shut down this stream to go into Spy Stream. Now, for all the new members of the YouTube channel, I want to make sure you guys know how to get to Spy Stream. Okay, let me just get it up. So if you are a new member of the YouTube channel, here is where you are going to find your Spy Stream information. The first thing you need to do is go to my channel homepage. All right. Then you go to the post tab, and underneath the post tabs, you're not going to see it here, but on the when you are a channel member, on the post tab, the very first post is going to be the link to the Spy Stream unlisted stream. Rumble, I'm going to hook you guys up as well. You guys don't need to worry about it. Just, you know, like hang out a minute and you'll understand, but Rumble's going to be fine too. So all my Rumble members, you guys are going to be taken care of as well. If you are a Substack supporter, then head over to karlyn.substack.com, click on this right here, and then I need you to scroll down, and I'm not going to show you because here is where the paywall ends unless you are a supporter, okay? When you are a supporter on the Substack, you go through this and you get a warning, do not share this information out. And if you keep scrolling down to the bottom, you are going to find a link to the stream. If you are a Locals member, you will find your link there. If you are a Patreon supporter, you will find your link there. If you are a Twitter subscriber, you will find it on my Twitter feed, okay? I posted it there earlier. So go to whatever platform you're a supporter on. That's where you can find it. But again, for people who are on my YouTube channel who just became members, just go to the channel homepage, click on the post tab, and it will be the very first post when you are a channel member. All right. So there is still a little bit of time to join us, guys, but I do have to shut down this stream. It takes me just a couple minutes to switch over to the Spy stream. For everyone that is not joining us, if there is protest coverage tonight, I will come back later. If there is not protest coverage tonight, then I will see you tomorrow, or maybe the next. No, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Mount the like button on the way out the door, guys, if you would be so kind. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are not already. I will teach you more about the far left than you ever wanted to know in your life. Thanks to everyone who sent in super chats today. Big shout out to everyone who donated channel memberships. We have 134 new members of the channel today. Thanks to all the generosity for people in the chat. And again, if you were gifted a channel membership, please use it. We can't control who gets the channel memberships, okay? They're given out at random. But we cross our fingers and hope that the people who got those channel memberships appreciate them and they take advantage of them. So, guys, we're shutting this stream down. We're going to go into Spy stream next. I will see you guys on the other side. Take care. We'll see you soon.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.